Hello friends, welcome to this week's card class. I'm a few minutes early this week. Imagine that. I have a lot going on today. What day is not like that in my life lately, right? So I thought I would just get going and get started on our card class for this week. And you can watch live or later. The video is going to be here. Here on Facebook where I'm live, it will be here for 30 days. But I will post the replay on YouTube and you can watch it there anytime. My name is Rachel Trout. I have been a demonstrator for almost 13 years. My Stampin' Up! Anniversary is coming up at the beginning of November, so it's crazy that it's been that long, but my oldest daughter was a couple months old when I joined Stampin' Up! And she is 13, so here we are. I hope you are having a great week. My week has been pretty good. If you have been following along, my youngest daughter had a lot of anxiety with the beginning of the school year, and that has been much better this week. So we are excited about that. She did have a few tears this morning, but I think it was because she was really tired. We went to a high school volleyball game last night, and she was up late. So she was probably tired. Hi, Joan. Thanks for joining me today. Let's see what else is going on this week. My younger son started football practices. He is, so at my kid's school, the sports start in 4th grade, and he's in 4th grade this year. So he is really excited to try all the sports. So we started football practices this week. My daughter is doing volleyball again, and they've been doing practice at recess, which is nice. Their games for football and volleyball start at the end of the month, and then we will really be busy with games and things like that. So crafting is a nice escape from all of that. I don't know about you, but lots of heavy stuff going on in the world, in life, and so it is nice to take a little break, get off of social media, and just do some crafting. And I know if you're watching this, you probably are on social media, but pretend that you're just taking a break and you're going to enjoy some crafting. Joan says she's getting her haircut, so she'll watch later. I desperately need a haircut and color, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Getting my haircut is one of my favorite things to do, though. So relaxing. So enjoy, Joan, and it will be here later. All right, this week we are going to craft for Christmas. So if you are ready to get started on your Christmas crafting, this week's class is for you. We are going to make some Christmas cards. I know it's only September, but it's nice to get a head start. And if you know me, you know I like to craft for Christmas all year long. And so I am excited about today's class. Now, if you would like a card kit so you can make the cards that I'm making in today's video, you can shop with me now through Tuesday the 16th. And when you spend more than $50 before tax and shipping and after Stampin' Rewards, I will send you a card kit to make the 3 cards. Now the cool thing is that I'm also using this bundle and these products for my Christmas card club this month. And I have the cards halfway designed. I have 2 of the 4 cards done. So I will show you those at the end of the video. But if you want to get more of these products and more cards with this bundle, you could order it during the week and get the card kit from today's video for free, and then subscribe to the card club and make even more cards with it. Or if you're already a member of my Christmas card club, maybe you want to order your bundle and get the card kit from today's class, and then you'll get double the cards too. So lots of fun. Remind me if I forget to show you those cards from the Christmas card club at the end of the video. I'm hoping to finish the other 2 this afternoon, and then I will be emailing that information out to my email list. So if you're not a part of that, make sure you join that. You'll be the first to know, and then you won't miss it here. I'll also post it here on Facebook, but especially if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're on my email list, then you'll get reminders. The deadline's only a few days away. I'm sorry, guys. It is what it is. The deadline for the Christmas card club is the 15th of the month, so it is coming up shortly. And one of these days, I will get the designing done sooner. It's just not happening right now. The last few weeks have been crazy. I don't think that's going to stop, so I just need to get my act together and get on top of things. All right, we're going to flip the camera down and take a look at these products. Let's see where my button went. It always says slow connection every time I say, I'm going to flip the camera, and then it covers my button. It's like it's listening. It probably is listening. All right, give me a second to get the phone back in my holder here. So the products we're using today are part of an entire suite in our new mini catalog. It's called the Traditions of Christmas Suite, and it is what I like to call a mega suite. So there's 2 stamp and die bundles. There's designer series paper, ribbon, embellishments. There's an embossing folder. I purchased most of the suite, but not the entire thing. And I forgot to grab my catalog to bring in here to show you the other products. But you can search for the Traditions of Christmas on the Stampin' Up store, and it'll show you everything in this suite. The bundle that I'm focusing on today is the Traditional Labels bundle. And you might be thinking, this is just another Christmas sentiment stamp set. And that is true. I love the fonts. I'm a sucker for some good fonts. I think it's fun to mix and match sentiments. The nice part about that, though, is that if you're getting the card kit and you want to substitute other Christmas sentiments that you already have, it's really easy to do that this week, okay? The thing that sold me on this bundle, though, is this set of dies, the Traditional Labels dies, because I think they are so useful for other things besides Christmas, too. They are just a great set of label dies. And so that's what really sold me on this bundle. But I think some things about it are cool, like some of these sentiments fit right in the banners. You can mix and match these things. You even have your to and from if you like to do tags for Christmas. So there's lots of options with this bundle. The other bundle in this suite is more like Christmas floral images, like you'll see in the paper here in a minute. And dies that cut that out, and then, you know, the greenery pieces and things like that. I didn't buy that one. I just bought this one. But that one is another fun one too, especially if you like to color and you like the poinsettias. I do. I couldn't get it all because it's expensive to get it all, right? I don't know about you, but I'm definitely having to watch my stamping budget more these days than I have in the past. There's some beautiful sequins in this suite. These are the traditional sparkling sequins. They are very flat, so they are great. If you are mailing out Christmas cards, flat embellishments are awesome. And these are pretty. They complement the colors in the paper. And then we have the 1/2-inch real red shiny ribbon. It is kind of shimmery and shiny on one side. And then the other side is more of a matte finish. It's not so shiny. I will say this is a little bit thicker for tying bows, but it works. I have found myself using it flat a lot or just folded on cards, and it is really pretty. It would also be great for tying on gifts if you are doing that, or, you know, if you're making tags, the little top of the tag. It would be good for that also. And then the paper is really another star of the show besides those dies. It is a specialty paper. So it has gold foiling on one side, and it is just really pretty. You've got your traditional greens and reds. It's real red. There is some cherry cobbler also, and old olive. But then you've got Pool Party and Secret Sea in there. And I just love the addition of the blues with the red and green. Check out this piece of the plaid. I know we've got some people that just love the plaids. This is a good one. If you get that second bundle in this suite, some of the dies, I believe, will cut out images on the paper. Since I don't have it, I'm not 100% sure on which images those are, but this might be a sheet that has some of those. And then this nice Secret Sea pattern on the back. This one I know for sure dies in the other bundle will cut these out. You could cut out the whole sheet with dies. Isn't that awesome? And of course, if you don't have the dies, you can fussy cut too if you don't mind doing that. Look at that old olive stripe on the back. I really like that. And I see Laura has joined us now. Hello, Laura. Thank you for watching and joining me today. This piece, I believe also, I think this one has a die that cuts it out. So probably quite a bit on this page too. Maybe we're going to use one of these flowers today. I just fussy cut it, but the dies may cut that out also. And then another Secret Sea pattern. Secret Sea, I think, is my favorite in color this year, so I'm loving the Secret Sea patterns. This one is a little bit busier, but if you pair it with something like this, it tones it down a little, right? So you don't have to use a whole big piece of this, but it is kind of a fun background piece. And I think that's petal pink for the pink flowers in there. This one I love for traditional Christmas. It's cherry cobbler with tiny little I think it's real red dots, or it might just be a lighter shade of the cherry cobbler, but really pretty. Then we've got more of the poinsettias with that gold foiling. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, and Tina's joined us too. Hi, Tina. Thank you for joining me today. And look at this old olive pattern. I like this one too. So the paper is really great. The sequins are great. I love the label dies. There's also an embossing folder in this suite. I did not get the embossing folder. It's a big wreath. And I believe it's like a 6-inch folder. So I was like, can you even fit the wreath on a card? I have seen the wreath kind of as a background on some of the cards. And it's okay, but I thought I'd spend my money on other things. So you can check out the Traditions of Christmas suite and see, maybe you want to buy the whole thing, or maybe you just want to pick out parts and pieces like I did. But we're going to make 3 Christmas cards today. Now, some of you know the drill and you're already saying hello, but I like to send the 3 cards that I make every week to 3 random people who comment on the video. So make sure you say hello. Let me know what you think of the cards this week. And I usually draw those winners on Monday. And if I already have your address, I just send them to you as a surprise. So it's fun to send Happy Mail. And I was going to say then I don't end up with a stockpile of cards in my craft room, but I still have a stockpile of cards. So this is one of the ways I try and minimize that and share the love. All right, this is our first card that we're going to make today. This one I actually cased straight from the catalog. I think I did a little bit different with the flower, but it's basically the same idea. I thought this was a really pretty card, and I hope you like it too. Like I said, this suite makes it really easy to do beautiful Christmas cards. The paper's so pretty that, it does most of the work. So if you are looking to start on your Christmas crafting and you want to make some quick and easy Christmas cards, check out this suite. All right, if you get the card kit this week, this is exactly what you're going to get. It's going to come sorted in the envelope for you with all the pieces that you need. And for this class that I do every week, everything is die cut and ready for you. So you're just doing your own stamping with your own ink. You use your own embellishments and ribbons, so you can buy the ones that I used on your order, or you can substitute. And I think this week's cards, it's really easy to substitute things. So that's just my opinion, but it's a good week to try it out if you want to. Oh, and I see Sharon's watching us too. Hi, Sharon. I have lots of people watching today, which is awesome. I'm glad you are catching me live. All right, for this one, we have a thick basic white card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and we'll fold that in half. And then I've cut a piece of that gorgeous Designer Series paper, the same size as my card front. So it's 4.25 by 5.5. Now, I like the plaid side, but I like this side even better. If you wanted to use the plaid side, you sure could. So I'm just lining that up with my card base here. And then we had to use a piece of the Secret C. So I have Secret C cardstock that is 3 inches by 4.25 inches. And then the Designer Series paper is 2 3/4 inches by 4 inches. And we're just going to layer those together here. Now you will notice our cards today are going to come together pretty fast because, like I said, the paper is doing most of the work. All right, I'm going to add that to my card with dimensionals, and I'm using my edges up today. I didn't grab another one to bring in here, so hopefully I have enough left on the edge here. But if you don't already do that, use your edges because they'll go a little bit farther. And I don't know about you, but I am always losing the sheet of dimensionals that I started, and then when I clean up my space, I find like 10 half-used sheets. Maybe that's just me. Okay, we're going to do something a little fancy with the ribbon. So, like I said, I'm going to fold it. And I am just going to cut. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold it across here, and I maybe left it a little long, but that's okay because we're going to trim the edges. We're going to trim the edges like a little banner. Now, you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. You could just leave them cut at angles. But I'm going to start by cutting a straight edge, and we'll see if my scissors cooperate because I feel like they are not super sharp to do this. But it's just like cutting a banner on your paper. So what I usually do is I cut up the middle just a little bit, and then I cut either side up to that center point. There we go. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now I want to make sure that it is winding up kind of where I want it. It can hang off a little bit. So that is about right, I think. We'll make it straight again on the edge. Then cut up the middle. And if it's not quite in the center, no one's going to come and measure your ribbon and make sure it's exactly in the middle. Now that's a little bit wonky. I'll try and make it neat, but like I said, my scissors are not as sharp as they could be. All right. So I'm just going to have that folded behind my sentiment. Now to hold it kind of in place, I'm going to put a line of Stampin' Seal Plus there. Like that. And then I think my dimensionals on my sentiment are going to do a good enough job of holding down the rest of it. So I'm just going to leave that there. And let's get to stamping. So this I cut out of Pool Party cardstock, and it is one of the label dies in this set. We are going to mix and match some of the words. So we have a more scripty font of the Christmas, and you could do the scripty Merry also. I'm doing Happy Christmas just for something a little bit different. And the Secret C ink. But if you want to do Merry Christmas, there is a Merry in this print, or there is the more scripty one, like I said. So you can decide what you want your card to say. Now, if you do push too hard, I have gotten, I don't know, I didn't push hard enough this time. Jeez. I might have to get my marker to fix that. If you push too hard, I have gotten ink. See how it's collecting in all those in-between spots? With these stamps, I don't know. I have gotten some of those shadows if I push too hard. So that is why I didn't push as hard this time, but that was not quite hard enough. Let me see if I have the markers right in here. I think I do. I'll show you how to fix this. Now, I haven't checked recently. Our Stampin' Write markers are being discontinued, and I haven't checked recently to see which sets we have left. If any of them are left, I don't know. It's hard to keep up with what is in and out. Let's see if I can get the package open first. There's a little flap in there that doesn't want to come out. I think my package is kind of falling apart right here. Come on. Let's see if the other end's any better. I just want to get one marker out. So anyways, you can check and see, but this is one use I like for the Stampin' Write markers. I do not get them out that often. But if you need to fix your stamped image a little bit, and I feel like our pen tip of the markers is a little bigger than it used to be. When it was super, super skinny, this worked better, but this will not be too bad. Just gotta concentrate, right? All right, that's probably good enough. I don't want to ruin it. All right, I am going to add this with dimensionals also. And if you are not sure, you can always add a little bit of extra Stampin' Seal right in the middle there and stick your ribbon to that, because this is going to go over the top. And if you use, I decided not to use as many dimensionals as I might have because I don't want to run out during the video, but you could add more dimensionals on the back too to help hold it in place there. All right, and then I'm going to fussy cut one of the little flowers from the designer series paper. And I don't know if this is one that has a die or not. So if you get that other bundle, or you have the other bundle in this suite, you might be able to use a die for this, but it's not too bad for fussy cutting. And it's just a pretty little addition to our card. Or if you have this paper and you want to try a different flower or a different arrangement, you could do that too. This is the one or something very similar that you'll get in your card kit. And I think in the sample in the catalog, they maybe used a slightly bigger one, or maybe they used a stamp from the other bundle, and I thought, I don't have that, so I'll just do this instead. I don't remember for sure. But this one is not too bad to fussy cut. I think what is next on my wish list is that cute little animal suite in the catalog. I think I'm going to use that for my Christmas card club next month, and it's really adorable. Sometimes I just go and buy a bunch of the stuff that I'm going to use all at once, but this time we are watching our money a little bit more because we just had to buy a new van, and so there went a bunch of money. So I'm trying to watch what I'm spending a little bit more. All right, I'm just adding that with a dimensional. If you wanted, you could even put it in a different corner, but I'm using that one. And then we're going to finish off with some of our balmy blue dots here. I think they're balmy blue anyways. I guess the color in the paper's pool party, so maybe they're pool party. I probably misspoke there. I don't know. I think that they can go with several different colors of paper, depending on what you want them to be. I love that about a lot of our embellishments, actually. All right, so there is our first card. And actually, that marker fixed that pretty well. It looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to stick this one in an envelope to send to one lucky winner from the comments. And let's move on to our second card for today. This is another one that really showcases the different patterns in the paper. And I tried to pick greens and reds for more of a traditional look. But what I'm going to show you is you can flip over the sides of the paper and we can do different patterns. So you're going to get the 5 strips, and then you can decide how you want to arrange them. So for this one, we have a real red card base, 5.5 by 8.5, folded in half. And then I have a piece of basic white that is 5.25 inches by 4 inches. And we're going to adhere that to our card base. And then, like I said, I have 5 strips of the designer series paper. These all measure 1 inch by 3 3/4 inches. So when we put them all together, it will equal a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5 with that white mat. Now, I did discover that some of mine maybe were just slightly over an inch, and I needed a little bit more space at the bottom, so I overlapped a little bit, and you can do that too. But let's see, I might switch some of these this time. I do like, let's see, this one I definitely want to do. Maybe we'll do something like, well, I need something in between there, I think. Yep, I think we'll go with that. So you can decide how you want those strips to line up, which sides of the paper you want to use, but it's a nice way to show off the different patterns in the paper. It's also good if you have some scraps left over, because these are small enough that you might be able to cut some of these out of your scraps. Or if you are mass producing a bunch of cards, you can just cut up all your paper and mix and match your strips. And it's pretty easy. There's not a lot of die cutting in this card. This would be a good one for mass producing Christmas cards. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you like to mass produce and make like all the same And I'm going to overlap this one a little so I have the correct border at the bottom here. Do you like to make all the same, or do you make a bunch of different ones? Since I'm making all sorts of different Christmas cards throughout the season and throughout the year, I just send different cards to everybody. But before I really ran this as a business, I would mass produce. I would choose one design and I'd make a whole bunch of them. So let me know what you do in the comments. I'm curious. All right, for this one, we are using Real Red ink, and we're going to use Sending Cheer. Now, these are kind of curved, which is kind of fun because, let me find where I put the dies. Oops, now they're falling out of here. Some of the dies are more curved, like they're rounded ovals, and so the words are meant to kind of curve with those rounded dies, which I think is neat. Now, if you want to, since these are photopolymer stamps, you can straighten them out if you don't like that curved look. You can make them a little bit straighter on your block before you stamp. And they don't have to be curved, but I'm not going to do that today. I don't mind that it's a little bit curved. So you can do Sending Cheer. We're going to do Merry and Bright on the next one. But you could do, let's see, what else do we have here? Happy Wishes, Merry Wishes. You could do Happy and Bright instead of Merry and Bright. Cheer to You. If you are using a larger one, you could do Merry Christmas to You. Merry Christmas Wishes to You. There's endless combinations. So lots and lots of options with this set. We could probably spend all day coming up with different combinations. All right, I'm adding this with dimensionals too. Now I gotta find where I set them. Here we go. All right, let's see. Tina says she is not a mass producer. She does 2 at a time. Yeah, there was one year where I thought I'm gonna do like 15 a month or something like that, because I send quite a few Christmas cards. I have a lot of family. And I like to send Christmas cards to like cousins and aunts and uncles and all that. Plus, we have a lot of church family. I like to give Christmas cards to all of them. And so I send quite a few. And so one year my goal was to do like 15 all the same each month, and then I'd have, a big set. But I think I made it 1 or 2 months, and then I stopped. So that might have been about the time I started my Christmas card club. And that is a way that now I get a lot of my Christmas cards made too, because the Christmas card club, so I design 4 cards for it every month. And then if you subscribe to it, you get to make 2 of each design, so 8 each month. So if you subscribe all year, then you are definitely set by the time Christmas rolls around. And I have some people that subscribe all year long, and they are all ready for their Christmas cards when it comes time to send them. All right, I tied a bow with that Real Red ribbon. We're just going to put it at the bottom here, but you could put it at the top too. Maybe I'll do that. I'm just going to totally switch up this card. This one will be at the top, the other one's at the bottom, so you can do either way. And then we're going to use some of the red dots this time. Really, any of the colors are going to work here because they're all colors that are in the paper. So you could do the old olive ones, you could use the gold ones, depending on which sides of your paper. I don't think I chose too many that have the blue in, so I maybe wouldn't use the blue this time, but really any of them would look nice. And we're just adding some of those red dots here. All right, so there is our second card. Yes, Laura, you're right. This designer series paper is absolutely beautiful. I love it. All right, we will tuck that one away for another winner, and let's move on to our third card. So for this one, I did another pretty simple design that you could repeat with any embossing folder and any designer series paper. And this is another good one to mass produce. So this one has just one extra step with the embossing, but if you wanted to, you could use a different piece of designer series paper back there too. For this one, I used the Jolly Holly embossing folder. It's a hybrid embossing folder We used it a while back, so you can buy it as part of a bundle. I actually don't care for the die cutting part of it. It kind of cuts parts of the holly leaves, and it's okay. But I like it better just as a plain embossing folder. So I have used it for our third card today. And like I said, you could use any embossing folder that you wanted to. All right, for this one, I have an old olive card base, 5.5 by 8.5, folded in half again. And then I have a piece of white that is 3 3/4 by 5. And isn't that a pretty embossing folder? I really like it. We've had a lot of snowflake ones, which I love, and like trees. And this one is something a little bit different, but it's still a nice Christmassy texture for your background. Okay, then I have a piece of Pool Party that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and a piece of the Designer Series paper that is 2.5 by 2.5. So we'll just layer those together. And then for this one, we're just going to put a piece of ribbon behind that square. So I'm just going to cut a piece here. I'm going to make sure I want my angles to match up on both sides. There we go. And just like I did on the other card, I'm just going to lay down a line of my Stampin' Seal Plus and put that ribbon across the middle. Then we're going to add our square with some dimensionals, and I think I'm going to make it with my dimensionals, so that's good. 1 in each corner, and I'll still have some left over for my sentiment. Natalie says she loves that embossing folder too. I think it's a good one because it's a little bit different than some of the other Christmassy ones that we've had. All right, then this is one of those traditional labels dies, and this time we are going to do the Merry and Bright, and again in our Real Red ink. Now I find it easier since this is 2 words. I like to line this one up first at the bottom, and then do the Merry at the top with the space that I have left. So that's just my recommendation if you're using this one with the 2 words. And it does fit. There's no problem with it fitting. I just think it's easier to space it if you put the one with the 2 words first. Okay, we're going to add that with a few dimensionals also. And then for this one, I thought we would use some of the old olive dots since we have an old olive card base. But again, the red ones would look nice. The blue ones on here would look nice. The gold ones. I almost grabbed a red one. You could use any of the colors. But I actually hadn't used any of the green ones yet when I created this card. So I thought I'm going to use the green ones. All right, so there we go. Super simple and sweet, but very pretty, I think. All right, let's tuck that one away for a third winner. And let me show you all 3 cards again. So if you joined in late, you can go back and watch the beginning and see all 3 cards. But remember, you can get the card kit now through Tuesday by shopping with me. When I'm done here, I will put a shopping link in the description of the video, along with a list of products you might like to add to your order, all the things that I used today. And then you just have to spend more than $50 before tax and shipping and after Stampin' Rewards to get the card kit, and then I'll send that out to you. All right, now I did promise, and I did not forget, that I would show you a couple of the cards from my Christmas card club. So we're using the same products for the Christmas card club this month. I have 2 of them designed, and like I said at the beginning, I am planning to get the other 2 finished this afternoon and send that out in email. And then I'll also post it on my Facebook page, so you can check back later this afternoon, hopefully, to see that. But these are 2 of the cards. So I'm going to design 2 more. There's 4 designs total, and then I send you supplies to make 2 of each. So it's 8 Christmas cards each month. What you get in the Christmas card club kit is a little bit different than the card kits that you get for my weekly classes. So these classes are product based, which means you get some product in your kit as well. For this one, you're going to get a half package of this beautiful designer series paper. You're going to get a whole pack of the sequins and half a roll of the ribbon. So you'll use those products on your cards. I don't pre-cut the designer series paper for you. You get a tutorial, I email it, and I put a printed copy in your kit. And it gives you all the measurements, so you cut the paper yourself. That way, if you want to mix and match and use different designs, you can. And you even have some left over for other projects, which is fun. You do get the ribbon, you get the embellishments. Everything is cut and ready for you. So the card bases, you get envelopes. I still sort them in envelopes like the card kit that I showed you for today. The only difference is that if it is part of the bundle, like these dies right here, I give you the piece of cardstock, but you do the die cutting yourself. If it's not a part of that bundle, like say I used a die from another die set, I would do that die cutting for you. Or if I did embossing like I did on this card, I would do the embossing for you. But you'll get the card stack so you can cut these. So if you want to substitute another label die that is about the same size or other Christmas stamps, you can still participate, or you can shop for the bundle yourself, or you can add it onto your kit. There are lots of options. My Christmas card club is $44 a month, and that includes the shipping, that includes the product, includes all the pieces that you need for your cards and the tutorial and envelopes. The deadline to subscribe is the 15th, so I will put the link up in the description of the video. And then I usually ship them out on the 25th of the month. Sometimes it's a day or two earlier or a day later, depending on when the 25th falls, if it's on a weekend or things like that. And then after that, after the 15th, it's the subscription period for next month's kit, which I believe, like I said, I'm going to use that cute animal suite out of the catalog. I forget what it's called. All right, so if you have any questions about that, just let me know. But like I said, if you're on my email list or you check back here later this afternoon, I will have the full sneak peek posted. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so glad that so many of you were able to join me live. That was fun. I will see you again next week, and I hope you have a lot of stamping time this week. Bye.